We're sorry there was a little technical problem with the ASML session. It's going to be now on a parallel stage. So that's one of 3 parallel sessions. The other one is Benno Seos from South Africa. He's going to be talking about how to adapt the thinking behind Lean for Africa. And on the 3rd parallel session, we have Fabrice Bernard talking about Lean thinking for disruptive innovation. And here on the main stage, I already see Seija and Sari from Telecom Elisa in Finland, and Juha Tammi from Lean Association Finland, their moderator. They're going to be telling us about how to improve a telecom company with Lean and Kata. The stage is yours. Thank you very much for being here, and you have 30 minutes. I'll see you in a bit.
All right. Hello and welcome to the session. It's my pleasure to introduce you, Seija and Sari, who come from the Finnish Lean Award-winning company Elisa. So, ladies, the stage is yours.
Thank you. And Sari, can you put the presentation on?
Yes.
Excellent. It's looking good. So let's get going. Welcome on my behalf as well. My name is Seija Sarkivi, coming from the company Elisa here, and greetings from snowy Finland. And we'll walk you through in the next 30 minutes how we have been using Kata method and what type of success stories we are able to share from that point of view. But let's start with what is Elisa in brief. So Elisa is a Finnish-based telecom company that was established 140 years ago, and we are here to build a sustainable future due to digitalization. For our core markets, we serve over 2.8 million customers here in Finland and Estonia, mostly telecom, entertainment, IT services, but both consumer and corporate customers. And for international markets, we serve in 20 countries. We have Elisians working and offering telecom software, industrial software, and energy management services for corporate customers. But that's about Elisa, and let's hop into the actual subject. So Sari will start telling in a few words what Kata is for the people who are not that aware of that.
Okay, hey, hi all. Kata is one of the continuous improvement methods. It's repeated routine that by practicing turns into new skills and way of thinking and working. It's used when we have some kind of challenge or goal that we really don't know how to get there, and the path is not clear. And it needs experimentation. And as we all know, world is changing and we really don't know what happens next. So we really need to do things differently and constantly learn. In Kata, we have 4 steps. First step is to set long-term challenge and vision. Where do we want to be? What is our Northern Star? What are we trying to achieve? After that, it's time to grasp the current condition, where we are at the moment. And a good way to do this is, for example, do Gemba or root cause analysis or use some other tools also. And when the current state is clear, it's time to establish the first target condition on our way to long-term challenge. And after that, step by step and one by one, we will do experiments and learn from them and reach the first target condition. And when that is it's reached, it's time to set next one and go on. So Kata is about goal orientation, systematicity, experimenting and learning. When we are having a Kata session in Elisa, we use 5-question card, and we are pretty strict with that. Next, I will go through the 5 questions and shortly that why they are asked. So, first and second question are about framing, reminding us that why are we in this session? What is the target condition and what is the current state at the moment? And when that is clear, we need to reflect last experiment. What was it? What did we expect to happen? What actually happened? And when we are comparing these each other, learning happens. Then it's time to go to third question, and it's about focus. In Kata, we identify obstacles that are on our way to the target condition, and we need to agree that what is the obstacle that we need to remove next. And then we will set the next experiment. What will we be doing, how to measure it, and what do we expect to happen? And then fifth question in this question card is that, okay, when can we check the last experiment? It's really important, and we recommend to have it as soon as possible, so there won't be any waiting time, and we remember that what happened and what did we learn. But this is like really short introduction to what is Kata, but next Seija will tell you about how Kata journey have been in Elisa.
Yes, thank you. And have to say that we have been really strict from the beginning that we use Kata as it is in theory. So we really use the 5-question card and follow each of the 4 steps in the improvement Kata, as Sari told. But yeah, going through the Kata journey we have, it starts over almost 9 years ago in the beginning of 2016 when we participated the first ever KataCon in Florida States. And going there, we didn't know too much what this is all about, just that we have heard that this might be something good and we're checking out. So we went, and I was there myself, and I remember listening to the keynote speakers, and them more than one told that this has truly changed my whole life. And I remember sitting there and thinking that, okay, that's quite much to say from a lean practice, but let's see what it is. And after a few days, I came back home thinking that, okay, maybe not going to change my whole life, but there's something we should look into more. And so we started practicing, doing small experiments here and there. And I think during the first year, we learned 2 things. First one is that this is a way to get results in a situation where you really don't know how to reach your challenge or the target you are achieving. So this is a way to walk through a fuzzy and strange environment where you don't know how to get there where you want to go. So it actually works. And the second learning was that it's actually quite fun while doing it. I remember one of the first experiments was a team where we wanted to decrease calls coming in related to certain product. And I remember us coming to the office in the mornings, checking the numbers from last day. How many calls did we get? Oh no, too many, more than the day before. So the experiment didn't work. We need to do something else. And so we learned, but it felt almost like a game that we wanted to win, so that we will find a way how to beat this thing. So 2 things, it actually works, it helps you to achieve the targets you want to achieve, and it's also fun while doing it. So quite a good combination. And this was convincing enough back then to convince our top management that, okay, let's go move forward with this and see where we go. And so we started the first training group. It was roughly, I think, 25 people in the first year. We arranged an external trainer to help us because we didn't have that much information. Only the book Mike Rother had wrote and nothing too much more. But what is worth highlighting is the commitment from the top management from the beginning. There were, in the first ever training group, there were 2 participants from the top leadership team of Elisa. So they really committed to it from the first phase. And I think that has been one of the key things why we have been so successful with Kata. But yeah, we started learning, and I think from the first training group, the main learning was where Kata is worth using and where not. So we tested it out in different environments, learned that, okay, here, not too well, but here, yes, here it works really well. And after that year, we were convinced that, okay, we want to make this an Elisa level method so that we have it established in all our different business areas. And so we got it to the strategy and set the target, quite, I think, a big target, that we want to train 400 kata coaches in 3 years. And where did the number 400 came from? Back then, we had roughly 400 teams working in Elisa Finland setup. So we thought that wouldn't it be great if we have one kata coach per each team, roughly. So nothing too scientific behind that target, but it felt good that time. And I still believe that that was a good way of going bold and setting, as kata usually is, setting challenges where we don't know how to get there. So this felt as a good one. And we started a kata core group to support the change. And the main responsibilities for the group was to train those 400 kata coaches and whatever is needed around that target. And one thing worth mentioning is Professor Jeffrey Liker, who probably most of you listening knows, who has been helping us throughout the way, not only with kata, but only with different lean methodologies. So a special thanks goes to him as well. But yeah, so we started going forward, trained more and more kata coaches, eventually realized that, okay, we don't need external coaches anymore. We are able to do it ourselves. And then trained kata coaches were able to train the new ones. So it actually was quite easy going forward. And at the end, in 2021, just on time, we reached the target of 400 kata coaches trained. But as it usually goes in the world, we start with quantity and then turn to look at the quality side. And that's the same that has happened here. So there, well, maybe one thing from the training side, this has been one of the most popular trainings I remember from the past. So for some reason, this is really something where people want to get involved. And we still have lots and lots of questions. Can we have more kata coach trainings? And there would be more and more people to come in, but we still have figured out that, okay, we today have 304 kata coaches still active. So we don't need too much more, but we need to make sure that they work on areas where they can make the biggest impact. So now we are not that much looking on the quantity side, but focusing on the quality and what's the biggest impact we can get out of the kata practices. But yeah, then I could share 2 success stories, what we have done, because this we can have 1,000 kata coaches, but if they can't provide anything, then not too well. So starting from the first one, and this actually started in really the early phases when we started practicing kata. It's around a production unit, and the topic was that we wanted to reduce our major and business critical incidents that happens in our environment in Finland. And to set an example of what is a major and business critical incident here in telecom industry, it can be, for example, there has been a huge storm here in Finland for a couple of days now. And when these storms come, it usually causes disruptions to the electricity system. So when electricity is cut down, they usually cut down electricity also from some of the base stations we use. And we have batteries supporting the base stations, but they don't last forever. So basically, if there's an electricity outage for a too long period of time and the batteries run out, then there can be areas where there is no network for our customers. And this can be then counted as a major and business critical incident if it lasts too long. So these are quite tricky ones to tackle. Usually, especially the storm ones, but this is the base. where we started from. So back in 2018, there were too many of these major and business critical incidents happening, and so some quality issues. And for that reason, the leader of the production unit back then wanted to set a really demanding challenge that we want to cut in half all the major and business critical incidents based on the best year ever, and that wasn't 2018. And worth mentioning that the production leader was one of the participants from the first training group. And I was their kata coach back then, and I remember the feeling in the production leadership team when this leader set the target of we want to cut them in half, and the leadership team was quite angry actually of the target. They were saying that this is stupid, it's impossible to achieve, or if it's possible to do, it will cost so much money that we don't want to do it. So no worth even trying. And I think now looking back that this is actually an excellent challenge, because it was something that they really didn't know that, or actually they knew that it's impossible. So really don't know how to get there. But luckily, the leader of the production was convinced, yes, this is what we will do, and we will use kata as our method to help us get there. And so we started working. The first half a year was really, really difficult. It was quite difficult to find the level of discussion that is really helping us forward. What are the things we really need to learn to be able to reduce the number of these incidents happening? And so we used time once per month back then discussing of the recent incidents that have happened, but the discussions were too technical oriented. They were discussing these nitty-gritty things here and there, what has caused, but we didn't see the light that, okay, how this is helping us to actually reduce the incidents. So we needed to take a step back and think that, okay, what is the actual thing we need to learn to be able to solve this? And then we took one level higher, like a view, level one step higher, and started to categorize all the incidents. Okay, this bucket is for the storms, for example, really difficult to handle. The electricity, the outages are not in our hands that much. So let's not focus on these, but there were lots of other buckets we can have an impact on. For example, we need to do a lot of changes to our networks, and sometimes it's rare, but sometimes we are not careful enough. We don't think all the different angles we need to take, and we cause a major or business critical incidents ourselves doing changes to our networks. And this was, for example, one area where setting more strict standards, how we make changes, different standards for example, that there needs to be double checks at some points, we were able to start reducing the major incidents from happening. And so the right level was found. We continued once per month. We checked that, okay, this many major incidents or no major incidents at all, and continued. There was a slight slip in 2021 where there were suddenly more incidents coming in, but thanks to the kata method that was still ongoing, we were able to grasp the situation quite fast that, okay, too many coming in, why, which are the categories where we can have an impact on and where not. And as an end result, we achieved the target, and not only achieved the target, but actually did a lot better than what was expected. So the thing they thought in the beginning that this is completely stupid, it's impossible to achieve, or it will cost so much money that it's not worth even trying, it was possible. And it didn't cost that much money. Actually, it didn't cost that much money at all. But if we check from the next slide, the graph, so we really did cut them in half and more. And maybe the graph shows we started in 2018. There were lots of these low-hanging fruits, as you can say. that we were able to take down in the beginning, and then started the hard part. Okay, how we can get rid of the more tricky ones. But yeah, that's one of my favorite examples, maybe because the group was so hesitant of no worth even trying. But yeah, so we can make the impossible possible with Kata. Another example is based on our 5G customers. As you know, as mobile phone users, we are able to provide new technology to our customers every now and then. And it's always a big shift, both for us, obviously, but also for the customers. So what is needed when a new technology is introduced from 4G to 5G in this case? The customers need to be aware that there is a better, faster, more reliable technology available, 5G in this case. Then what they need is a working cell phone that supports the new technology, and they also need to do some changes to their subscriptions. So there are basically 3 things we need to make. We need to build the awareness for the customers of the new technology. We need to sell them phones that support the new technology, and also change the subscriptions. A huge process for us, quite a change for the customers as well. But at the end, customers are always happier with the better technology, obviously. So what was done right in this case is that the team who is responsible for the target, that is really at the core of our strategy, this target, is that they decided that, okay, Kata is a good method for this, and we really need to take it in the daily use. So this team had actually a weekly meeting where they always went through the 5-question card, and they really focused on the learning part. So they didn't do only the documentation and read it through, but really focused on what we have learned, what we don't know yet, and how to go forward. And this really works, as you can see from the graph. All the targets were exceeded throughout the year. And I could, if you take the next slide, I could go through a couple of reflections, what was really done right in this case. First learning is the role of the Kata coach, and that you really use Kata as the theory says. So there was, and we always use, a separate Kata coach who is not part of the team and not learning as the rest of the group, but making sure that the group follows the practice and that they really focus on the most important thing, which is learning. So it's not, Kata is not a reporting meeting, but it's a learning meeting where we learn together. Another building block for this success was that it was built as a cascading Kata, meaning that the entire organization working towards this target was taking in all the needed roles. So it's not only for one team, but there were people participating from all over the organization that were needed to make this happen. And then maybe one big learning from this Kata that is not too common is that at some point the team realized that they are not actually learning that much at the end of the year, but it became more like a routine, and there wasn't not too many new learnings coming, but they knew, okay, this is how the world works, and this is what we need to do to keep it going. So they made a bold decision on ending the Kata as well, and realizing that now we have the standards in place, and now we know how to reach the targets in the future as well. But these 2 case examples shows that we are able to achieve strategically really demanding targets, and it's also fun while doing it. Well, not maybe in the beginning, but at the end at least. But yeah, those were the example cases, and now Sari will tell a bit how we support the organization today.
Thank you, Seija. And as you said earlier, we have a Kata core group in Elisa. We have participants in that group from different business units, and also from Estonia. and our purpose is to support graduated kata coaches and help to start new katas. We have different kind of storyboards in our internal intranet site. We also have physical 5-question cards. I can show you that kata coach can use in a kata session. Then we have in Teams, we have kata coach community, where kata coaches can spar or, for example, try to find substitute for the coaching session. And we are always like learning new things, and at the moment we are concentrating also in second coaching, and we have form for second coaches to help observe and give feedback to kata coaches. That's one role also in kata. And then we have a small kata in nutshell training in our training lounge, so all the Elisians can go and see that, okay, what is kata all about, and maybe start using it in their work. And we also arrange kata clinics for Elisians, so there is place where people can come and ask about katas, or if they have any obstacles or they want to share learnings. And of course, last but not least, we have this kind of small kata pins in our necklace, so Elisians can find out that, okay, that one knows about kata, and I can ask they to coach me. But I think that was all, or do you want to add something, Seija, and we can go to questions if there is any?
Yeah, no, nothing to add. So let's check if there are some questions we could answer.
Thank you, Seija. Thank you, Sari. Very compelling story about your kata journey. I didn't see any attendee questions, but I surely would have some. What is now in focus in your kata development? Can you share a little bit of that?
We have several, but if we look this bigger, we have always ongoing, like in team levels, since we have more than 3,000 kata coaches, there are lots of team level katas we are not that aware of with me and Sari. But then the biggest strategically important are focusing currently quite much of engagement of employees. And then we are focusing on churn and reducing the churn within the customers, and on our how to get most value out of our process development. This would be maybe one of the biggest we are now working on strategic level.
All right. And do you have also kind of impossible goals, targets in those?
I would say so, yes, in every single one. But we are confident that we are able to reach them, although they feel impossible at the moment.
All right. At least you have experience from previously.
Exactly.
You had the privilege to have top management engagement and commitment in the beginning. Do you have any ideas how others could get top management's engagement in case they don't really have it yet?
We were lucky in the beginning that our CEO back then was really a lean believer, so it helps. But I think for the top management, success and money speaks well. So I would share experiment in small scale and build it from there, and then show the good results. And usually it speaks for itself.
Very good, very good. Good advice. And always, of course, take the low-hanging fruits first and
Exactly.
aim for bigger ones.
And maybe one thing.
Hello, guys.
Yeah. Hello.
No, go ahead. You have
I want to
few
share
seconds.
something that, I really would like to meet people all over the world that are using kata at the moment in service business and get like benchmarks. So if there is people listening this kind of this our presentation and are using kata, we really would like to connect and learn also from you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.